Log in to Olix 365 using the provided user sign-in and password. Navigate through diverse modules by clicking on them. Let's demonstrate procurement and sourcing. In the procurement process, several main accounts play pivotal roles. Before delving into procurement, it's essential to set the groundwork by creating an item group and adding items to that specific group. Similarly, the creation of vendor groups and the addition of vendors to these groups are crucial steps. The subsequent explanation outlines the procurement process for a product, encompassing purchase requisition, request for quotation, purchase orders, receiving purchase orders, invoicing purchase orders, and vendor payment. To initiate a purchase requisition, start by navigating to the All Purchase Requisitions section and click on New. Input all necessary details and click OK to proceed. Within the Add Line section, specify information about the items needed and their respective quantities. Once everything is filled out, submit the requisition for approval. Then the Request for Quotation button will be enabled. Select the appropriate legal entity and line items, then click OK to generate the request for quotation. Let's walk through the request for quotation process. We have the option to initiate a new quotation by clicking on New. Alternatively, to demonstrate a continuous purchase requisition to request for quotation process, click on the request for quotation that is created. In the header section of the RFQ, input the necessary vendor details and dispatch the quotation to the vendor by clicking on the Send button. Verify the details, specify line details, and click OK. At this point, the vendor receives a notification on their portal under New Bid Invitations. The vendor should click on the New Bid Invitation and then select the bid option in the header section. During the bidding process, the vendor is required to enter details such as unit cost, lead time, valid effective date, and expiration date for the quotation. Upon submitting the bid, a confirmation is sent to our system, and the status of the RFQ line changes to Received. Subsequently, click on Compare Replies to assess responses from various vendors and select the optimal choice. Upon accepting the vendor, a notification is sent to inform them that their quote has been accepted, automatically rejecting other vendors. To finalize the purchase requisition line workflow for the accepted vendor, the procurement team must proceed. The vendor details will be integrated into the PR, subsequently closing it and initiating the generation of a purchase order. To initiate the creation of a purchase order, PO, in Olix 365, start by navigating to the All Purchase Orders section and selecting New. Fill in all necessary details, including specific information about the items and their quantities in the Add Line section. Once the details are provided, submit the order for approval. The designated approver will receive a notification on Teams, allowing them to review and approve the purchase order. Olix 365 enhances the procurement process by incorporating a functionality for DocuSign, enabling vendors to digitally sign documents. After approval, use the Send DocuSign to Vendor button to initiate the digital signing process. Vendors receive an email containing the document, where they can review and add their digital signature. The updated document seamlessly reflects in the purchase order. Following the completion of the digital signing process, confirm the purchase order. This action activates the Purchase Order Confirmations button. Click on it to promptly send the purchase order confirmation to the vendor. Upon the vendor dispatching the items, the process of receiving the purchase order, PO, is initiated in Olix 365. To kick off this process, click on the Receive option. This action prompts the selection of the product receipt, where necessary details are added. Subsequently, click OK, and the status of the PO is promptly updated to Received. With the reception of items, Olix 365 facilitates several inventory transactions. These transactions contribute to an increment in the inventory on hand value, ensuring an accurate representation of available stock. Additionally, the site and warehouse information undergo updates, reflecting the dynamic movement of inventory within the organization. Following the reception of the purchase order, PO, the subsequent step is to initiate the invoicing process in Olix 365. Click on the Invoice option, where you input the relevant invoice number and proceed to click Post. This action effectively updates the status of the PO to Invoiced. Once the purchase order, PO, is invoiced, it triggers the corresponding invoice transaction within the system. The responsibility for the vendor payment process shifts to the finance team. In the vendor payment journal, create a new entry by clicking on New, add the relevant lines, and then proceed to click on Settle Transaction. This step provides a detailed overview of pending invoices with the vendor. Choose the specific invoice slated for payment, validate it, and then click on Post to finalize and complete the payment process. Upon the successful settlement of the vendor payment, the transaction is meticulously recorded and logged under the vendor's account. This comprehensive approach ensures accurate and transparent financial documentation. Finally, the accounts payable main account undergoes the necessary transactions, resulting in the crediting of the vendor. This systematic accounting process is reflected in our detailed report, offering a comprehensive overview of the financial transactions within OLX 365.